So most of us have a boss, and I think most of us can agree that a bad boss can make or break our experience at work. Even more devastating is when you get into your dream role and find out you have a manager instead of a leader. So a lot of people don't think that there's much of a difference, but there is, and those differences can impact more than just what you think of your job. My name's Rhiannon Lutz, and I have not only worked for both managers and leaders, I have been both. I've worked in retail management for over 10 years, and this has given me a unique opportunity to why leadership versus managing is better, why that approach is so necessary today, and how leaders can actually change the world. So I want to get into why there is a difference between the two and what that does for an employee. But first, I think it's important to have a little history on how this debate even began. So 20 years ago, organizations started to change the way that they structured their management teams. A lot of organizations had anywhere between 6 and 10 and sometimes even more levels of management hierarchy. Today, that's not the case. Several organizations have as few as 4 and very rarely more than 6 levels of management hierarchy. This, with the intention to reduce expenditures, companies wanted to streamline their processes and learn to do more with less. Removing these levels of managers has pushed top executives towards the bottom line, and with just as much to do today as ever before, and less people to do it, managers had to find a new way to manage. This shift has changed the interaction between managers and managers and employees. Employees had to become more independent, and managers had to learn to have a more engaged and personalized process to achieve results. There was no more of this overseeing type of management role, and managers became functioning jobs, and they absorbed a lot of the tasks that upper management and employees below them once did. So this started the debate between managers and leaders. For a long time, managers needed to have skills like the ability to direct, have process management skills, follow direction, and identify problems. As this new leadership style of managing emerged, those skill sets shifted to things like be inspiring, have the ability to change, have strong communication skills, and to identify opportunities, not just problems. As the years have passed, that gap between managing and leading has been more prevalent than ever. Some of the differences that you'll find is that managers tell and leaders sell. So managers are going to tell you what to do, and leaders are going to sell you an idea on why you should do what you do. So an example of this is something as simple as asking an employee to pick something up off the floor. The manager is going to tell you to do that. A leader is going to explain why that is important so that you can be more independent and do your job on your own. Managers minimize risk and leaders take risks. So managers will never implement new strategies or new processes because there's risk involved and that costs money. Leaders are going to look for new and better ways to get the job done so that they can streamline the processes and in fact do more with less. Managers instruct and leaders encourage. So if you want to know what your job role is and you have a manager, they'll most likely tell you to read your employee handbook. But a leader is going to encourage you to be involved in the process that defines your role. That way you feel more connected and more empowered in what you're doing. And managers follow directions while leaders have visions. So managers will just do what they're told. Leaders they know where they're going, they're just not sure how to get there, and they engage and encourage their employees to be a part of that process as well. And lastly, managers have eyes on the bottom line, while leaders have their eyes on the horizon. Everything that a manager does, whether it's tasks or dealing with employees, they always have the bottom line in mind, and leaders are looking far out past the short term and sometimes even past the horizon to years down the road and how they can do more with less in the long term and empower and encourage employees to be a part of that. So like I said, there are many differences between being a manager and a leader, but why is being a manager actually better? Well, the first reason I kind of already explained. It is due to the restructuring in so many organizations today. The downsizing of organizations has changed the way managers interact. It is less about directing and more about engaging and empowering employees to do more with less. Several studies show the effects on employee morale and performance when they have a great leader to work for. According to the Arabian Journal of Business Management Review, this leadership style of managing has a greater effect on employee performance, making employees feel more connected and empowered and confident in their jobs and making decisions. This old autocratic way of managing that's really starting to die out does the exact opposite, makes them feel very disengaged and disenchanted from what they do. And statistics show that employees favor and respond better to engaged leaders. A study done by Gallup showed that 54% of employees felt actively engaged in their roles and in their companies when their manager possessed leadership skills. So outside of hating to work for a stiff, closed-off manager, leaders can affect far more than just your work life. Another Gallup study showed that employees who have strong work relationships and a sense of belonging that's fostered by positive leadership, they're just all around more happy, more resilient, more adaptable to change, and actually they even like to volunteer more. So it's easy to see all the difference between managing and leaders. Though there are benefits to both, this new organizational structure really required some out-of-the-box thinking and the development of a new way to engage that was more connected and individualized for employees. So this was the introduction of this leadership style of managing, and studies and research today show that there are positive effects from this on employee performance, but that those effects in fact do go beyond just the workplace. It's amazing to think of what a great leader can do. Engaged and happy employees are better citizens. Better citizens contribute more to their communities, and that's something that we need more of. Sure, one happy person isn't going to change the world, but one leader does have the opportunity and the ability to affect thousands of employees, and I think that's a really great way to influence change. Thank you.